This is nice.
We are going to be taking your questions here in just a little bit. So thanks for joining, everybody. That's what popped up, that thing right there.
Oh, that's just a notification that you're live.
Oh, all right. Now we know. So we're going to be taking your questions after I do the weekly horoscopes, so you guys can start typing those in. Paul will be grabbing those up as he sees fit. If you could include names of the living, the deceased, pets, anybody that you're asking about or you want to hear from. It saves us time, and those are the questions that are most likely to get chosen because they are efficient. All right, so you can ask about anything. You can ask about lost objects, paranormal situations, psychic questions about the past, the present, the future, questions about money, romance, career, whatever it is. You can also ask about health, but I would also like to remind some people this week that if it's a deeply, deeply private, personal, heavy question about, murder or some severe disease or something like that, you might just want to book a reading with me, and you can even submit a one question email read. Now, all booking information for readings with me is up at the top or below. So it's ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. Quick, too, we do have the annual sale going on right now. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Should I get ready for you two?
Yeah.
Okay, for the horoscopes? Okay, so I'm going to give my little spiel, and then we're going to get right into it. So welcome, I'm Ivy Rivera, Psychic Medium. This is the Ask a Medium show. I want to invite you to take advantage of my annual holiday sale. That's buy one, get one, 50% off. That does expire on December 31st. You can get more information about readings as well as classes that we hold at the Ivy League Psychic Academy, an international school, at ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com. For those of you who have not subscribed to me on YouTube, I highly recommend that you do so. We are shifting everything over that way as we go forward. So you could check that out. That's also where I'm posting all of the monthly horoscopes and additional weeklies. So those don't always go on to Instagram and Facebook. Now, before Paul, hi Paul.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Before Paul starts taking all of your questions, we're going to be giving the weekly horoscope. So this is from Wednesday the 4th to Wednesday the 11th. What is going on with your weekly horoscope? Aries, first thing that I have going on with you is bit of a pain in the neck, a bit of a pain in the back, or a pain in the upper shoulder here. What that can mean is two different things. You have a monkey on your back. You have something that's causing you stress or someone that is irritating you. It can also be a sign that you're carrying too much energy that is causing you distress in your upper shoulders, in through your head, causing headaches. And a lot of people also do that in their stomach. So if you're noticing that you're having digestive issues or, nasal problems, sinus issues, or this literal back pain up through the shoulders, the neck, you're going to want to find the source of it if you haven't already. I feel like the majority of you know already what I'm talking about. Now, the next thing that's coming up with this and the message of healing for this dilemma is to cut yourself loose. I feel like if this is a toxic relationship, and for many of you, this may be with an old situation, a stagnant ex, even an ex-partner, an ex-spouse, old family members. For many of you, it seems like it could be a boss. I'm hearing cut yourself loose, get yourself free. Sometimes we are measuring how much something is worth by how much time and effort we put in. And we want to say, yeah, but I put in, this was an investment, not if the payout is no longer there. Everything in the world is on a time clock. And this one has expired. What I'm hearing is don't hold yourself back. You have new exciting things to look forward to going forward. And it's almost like you can't get those. That door can't open until this is complete. There's also talk of new love with some of you. So I want to say, especially Thursday and Friday, be open to the possibility of conversation that you're hearing for the first time. Even though for many of you, I feel like you already know this person, you've already bumped into this person, this engagement may not be the first one. That can also mean that there's past life connection there. It is very possible that you are rekindling something with someone from a previous life, but it's also possible that this person's been right in front of you and you just didn't see them, timing or whatever. Everything is free right now. It has a lot of work connotations surrounding this, connected throughout this. So you guys could have similarities in life goals, work goals, or even be working in the same place. Actually, that would not surprise me one bit. Enjoy. Taurus, what is going on with you this week? Taurus, I'm feeling like there is, that's making me nuts. It's like the OCD is like off the charts. I feel like you're taking one step forward, two steps back, one step forward, standing still, another step back. It's like you're doing this dance with yourself. I don't see anything in front of you. I don't see any real reason for it to be happening. You have found yourself in a little bit of a predicament here where you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You might be second guessing yourself. What I'm hearing from your guides and your ancestors is that this is not from lack of information. It's not from a lack of wisdom. It's not from a lack of guidance given to you by your higher mind, the universe, God. It is that you have chosen to ignore some things to the past. The last 2 months for you in a situation have been turbulent, and you were given advice throughout that time, but you may not have taken it. And when that happened, you ended up sweeping some things under the carpet, skeletons in the closet. Now we have unfinished business, and it's coming to the surface, and it's showing up as it's almost like the symptom or the outbreak. Now you can see it through this almost deer in the headlights type of a scenario where you are a bit paralyzed and not understanding what to do. My healing message here is that you need to go back in. You are not going to find as much information if you're looking around you and you're saying, oh, well, I want someone to tell me. I want to talk about this. What's the world showing me? Are there signs and symbols? I think it's going to be easier for you to sit quietly, 15 to 20 minutes, go inward, call in your guides, and find out what it is that you need to change. There is a ton of parental energy coming in here for you, Tauruses. And this is really going to hit more Thursday and Friday. Now, whether your parents are living or deceased, or these are just mentors or parental type figures, I feel guidance coming to you, showing you, almost like taking your face and redirecting on what you ought to be looking at. So it's really going to start with what is out of balance in your life and then where the priorities need to be. I feel like if you can work this out this week and clear up some of that activity that's been going on for the last 2 months, I feel like you're going to have a very prosperous month ahead. And some of the things that you end up bringing in, whether they be relationship, or this be promotion in your job, it does have the potential to almost double your profit in some way. So pay attention. I'm also hearing chimes, bells ringing with you. Pay attention to ringing in the ears. Okay, people think they have tinnitus. That is Spirit's way of communicating with you, living or deceased, especially those parents. Gemini, what is going on with you? I see snake in the grass. Okay, so this is a week for you to understand what's yours and to understand what is your ego and to have a clear set of boundaries so that you're putting in the effort when you should and you're letting go and letting God when you should do that. This is a little bit like the Serenity Prayer. What I'm sensing here is that everything for you this week is about the timing. On Thursday afternoon, I want to say Friday morning leading into the afternoon, and then we have some activity going on next Wednesday, where there's sort of a breakthrough on all of this, what you're going to be analyzing is the timing on your words, the timing on your actions. When am I supposed to take this information that I got secretly? So I see you as being this snake. Now, what was interesting was that when you were the snake, you were collecting all this information. It was useful information. It was healing information. It was for your prosperity and your future. But knowing when to apply it is going to be key, or it's sort of like you're exposed, okay? Because the very next possibility was you being more in the desert instead of the high grass. And those are extreme circumstances. And of course, you would have no shelter. You would have nowhere to hide. So watch your mouth, watch your ego, keep it in check. I also feel for you, I'm supposed to give a little bit of a heads up that this isn't a great week to be drinking a lot, using escapist tendencies, avoidance problems. This is a real grown-up time. We're going to adult this week, my fellow Geminis, and we are going to stay mindful, okay, and focused. You have a lot of maternal energy coming in over here to the future, to the right side of you. That's grandmothers, aunts, your living mother if you have, but also, deceased. And I feel a lot of angel energy coming in here too. This is a huge week for you to bust out, to break through, to shatter boundaries. And I see some chains coming off your ankles that have possibly been there for anywhere from like 2 to 12 years. So a lot going on with Gemini this week. Good things. And that's coming regardless, okay? Let's see. Cancers. What is going on with you, my fellow Cancers? I feel that this week you want to go out and play, but you feel that there's some heaviness put on you. So I do feel similar to what I was getting for Aries, is sort of like a pain, but for, in the shoulders and the neck area. But for you, it's more like chains. I literally see big, thick chains put around your neck. My sense here is that someone else put them there. This isn't the kind of situation where I could say, well, you're doing this to yourself, just knock it off, refocus. It's not quite that easy. Someone did you dirty. Someone's done you wrong. Someone has lied and taken advantage of you. And you feel quite assaulted by it mentally, physically, emotionally. I would not be surprised. Hold on. We're going to have to, you may have to stay over there for a minute too. Okay. So I would not be surprised if you find that you're even dealing with some past life issues that might be coming up from this type of an assault to your energy field. And what I think is best for you to do is to accept this energy from these loving maternal females coming in here, this angelic energy. Remember that everyone is appointed 2 angels. You have a protector angel and you have a guardian angel. The guardian angel is watching over your mental and emotional state and well-being. So what we really want to do is just allow the healing to come through. I feel that you may have a bit of a tendency to want to shut yourself in and push everybody else away this week. And that's not the way to do it. I feel a ton of relief coming to you and like a victory. I see you coming up out of this with a sword over here on, I want to say, really, we're looking more toward the end of next week. It's like you are in a very, very unique position now to almost like cut this person down, cut the situation down, cut them off at the knees. You might be pulling the rug out from under somebody, and I see you just looking at it and being like, good luck with all that. That karma is on you and letting it go. So kudos, good for you. I'm also seeing you're going to have to put it on airplane mode.
Yeah.
Hold on, everybody. We want to get the Facebook feed on airplane mode. Nope. This is an iPhone. Sweep up from the bottom. Yep. No. Yes. Okay. Do you want me to do it? There you go. All right, we got Samsung people, Google people, and iPhone people here. So
There's like
never shall they meet.
4 directions to swipe,
Right.
and I didn't get to that.
It's the young punk crew from Instagram that's got to get on here and call every time we do a show. You could thank them for that. So what we have going on, with you, again, Cancers, is a complete and total release, a real cleansing. This is significant, and this is going to be significant in you dealing with some issues from a previous past life, unfinished, I almost want to say like karmic cycles, okay, that are now coming to an end, and you'll be able to carry this forward and heal a lot of other people through your story as well. So don't think the story isn't meant to be heard. It most certainly is. Let's see Leo, what is going on with you? Leo, I have you running really, really fast. And I feel like there is this, almost like, I see flames coming up and out of your back. And what that can mean is that you are feeling feisty about going after something that you really want. And a lot of it is really coming from a place of cleansing. So behind you in the recent past or currently even, you may have found that, really, literally, like you're on fire. You have decided that your energy is in alignment with what you want, that even if you can't see exactly what you're going for, you're ready to at least take some steps in blind faith, that you're stepping out, you're shaking it up. For some of you, I feel you shedding old lovers that really aren't of any value anymore. I see that we have, is this frozen?
YouTube? No, mine's fine.
Nope, Facebook.
Sorry, Facebook? No, mine's working.
Okay. So we have an opportunity for you to leave behind love partners that aren't working anymore. I also feel that if some of you have been sort of crushed by a job, a career, a situation, under a boss, maybe you were working under a glass ceiling, something like this. You just didn't feel like it was ever going to go anywhere. We have room for improvement there. Some of you may be looking at buying a property, expanding on a family. Some of you may be looking at, this feels like marriage. This feels like growth. For others, it feels like I'm taking this vacation. I'm getting out of here, possibly even overseas. So bigger trips and investments. If someone were to approach you now, or someone has approached you in the past about getting in on a business with them, or if you've thought about launching your own thing, it feels to me like this would be a great time for you to do this. I also think that it's really important, especially on Tuesday, for you to pamper yourselves and to dress yourselves up. I know you guys love to do that anyways, Leos, but I feel that somebody might be coming and challenging you a bit and trying to make you think that you're less than what you are. It feels like it could be a bit of a jealous attempt. And I want to say, don't let anybody rain on your parade, okay? So really just go in front of them and shine even more, I think is the best thing that you can do. Virgos, what's going on with you? Leo and Virgo, I want to say that for both of you, I'm getting very pushy parents. Now, pushy parents can mean parental figures in any capacity. It can also mean figures of authority or someone in your life who thinks they're of authority. Maybe they have some control over your finances in some way, or, you have to think in terms of what makes you tick. Okay. What can people control in your life? But I want to say that for both of those signs, you may be setting some boundaries with these people this week, saying once and for all, this is not your territory. I understand that maybe I let you believe that for a while. I don't owe any explanations here. This is no longer your territory. Do not cross this line. And you're taking back something that is really rightfully yours. The majority of what I'm seeing you taking back it's not really objects. It's more like emotional, mental, physical space, owning your energy again. And I feel very positive about all of that. Fix this for me?
It's working on mine.
I know, but it's not working on mine. So if you could fix mine. Okay. So what else do we have going on here with Virgo? I have a little bit of a tendency here for you, especially on Wednesday. I want to say that I'm seeing tripping feet. And what that can mean is that you find yourself in a situation where you're being rushed, or you can't really see what's right below you. If there's a situation brewing with your work, with a business deal, with a new position. Someone is maybe saying to you, where is this? Where's this paperwork? Why isn't this done? We need to sign here. We have to go forward. You could find yourself stumbling a little bit or almost feeling, thank you, almost feeling like out of control. I didn't know. You might blame yourself and say, I should have been more organized. I should have been more prepared for this. But I actually feel like it's a bit of a bluff. I don't feel that you have to rush. It reminds me of the kind of situation where you rush to get somewhere and like everybody else is 15 minutes late anyways, or they're not even, you got the wrong day. It could be anything. But I'm not saying don't move forward. I'm just saying don't be hasty in how you do it. Dot your I's, cross your T's, and be focused. Don't trip over yourself, okay? I feel like this is, and it would be fitting for Virgos, right? I love you guys, but you're very perfectionistic, and you allow things sometimes to make you be flustered more than what you need to be. Just stay focused. Take it slow. Libra, what is going on with you? Okay, so I'm seeing you get very dressed up this week, and I saw gold coins come in a necklace and be placed in front of you. This is an obvious prosperity symbol. It is all about you finishing up a task this week that is connected to your life contract. Now, when I'm talking about a life contract, I'm talking about what you signed on to do before you came to Earth. Everything written within your life contract is on a deadline. And we want to fulfill these life contracts and meet these deadlines so that we don't have to like reincarnate and do it over and over and over again, of course. But some of what's going on for you is past life. So we're not only wrapping up a contract, potentially something in the contract we could just check off just from this life. This is old. So I'm seeing ancestors. I'm seeing a lot of male ancestors who watch over you, paternal energy, your father or your older brother or a male mentor in your life in some way, a boss, might get involved with you this week and try to say, what about this? Or how about finishing this? Or how is this going? And give you sort of a heads up and actually somewhat of an outline and a roadmap on how to do it, or a helping hand. This could be inheritance. This could be the handing down of a business directly to you. It could be a lot of things. So I think that it's really important that this week you're paying attention to the way that prosperity was just placed right on your neck. It's rightfully yours is a great way to say this. And the only thing you really have to do is step forward. Some of you may be hesitant to do so, whether you have children, you have a spouse, you are coupled in some way, you have financial obligations somewhere else. You may be tempted to say, well, I can't do that. I can't step out and do something new because I have these responsibilities, or they would never let me, or whatever. You're going to have to think a little bit outside the box to get these benefits. Scorpio, housing, travel, movement, and some vehicles. Some of you might be looking at upgrading the vehicle, purchasing a new vehicle, waiting on someone to gift you a vehicle. For many of you, you've been sitting still and you've been waiting on a situation in your life in the literal way, waiting for someone to give you something. And I feel that this might be a week when it either breaks through or you say, I'm done, I'm breaking out, I'm going to go get it my own way. So for many Scorpios, we have circumstances holding you back. This could be affecting real estate and the things that I mentioned earlier also. However, it could just be affecting your life, your body, your mentality. This is all about you cleansing and getting free of some circumstances that have been holding you back. It seems like there are 4 separate areas going on in your life. They're all connected to this breakthrough. So you're going to see improvements in many different areas. For those of you who've been having sexual problems, if you've been having, we won't get into it, just a whole bunch of stuff that looks dysfunctional a bit. If you are having issues and you haven't been able to sort of bring your A game, or really enjoy things there in the bedroom capacity, this could also be affecting that. So it's funny how we tend to think logically about everything, right? Well, how could my money possibly affect my sex life? Everything is interconnected. So you have these breakthroughs, and then even that increases. Now, for some of you, it's not just going to be about sex. It could also be about your creative level. So writers, artists, musicians, we're looking at some like skyrocketing here, okay, with creativity and potential breakthroughs coming up even with that or what you created in the next couple months. Enjoy, Scorpio. Very nice. Sagittarius, what is going on with you? Okay. So Sag, I am seeing you trying to collect. The image that Spirit's giving me is you on a beach, digging, and trying to put all the sand in little teeny tiny jars. Some of you might be doing that. Probably it's a symbol, okay, like everything else I get. So what that means is that you're trying to collect small bits of things from your life and save them and store them and have them to look at later on and say, look at this thing that I have. But I'm supposed to say to you, you know, you can't take anything with you. So keep that in mind as you go forward, that it's okay to maybe spend a moment in time collecting some sand and having a keepsake, or saying that this thing is special to me and I'm so glad that I own this, or this makes me feel good. But you have to learn how to recreate that feeling, that thought, that sense of freedom or happiness or peace or joy with your own brain, not with objects, not with money, not with people, not with circumstances. You have to recreate it in your own way, like repeatedly, in such a way that it will sustain you. So in a way, this is really positive because you've hit the money, you hit the mark, you figured out something that really makes you tick, and it really makes you want to engage. And so that's wonderful, but you can't save it forever. It is not about the occurrence. It's not about the person. It's not about the experience of the object. It is about the way it made you think, the way it made you feel. And what does that say about who you are and what you're here to do? Okay, recreate that. It's going to come up again on Thursday morning and into Friday evening in some dreams as well. And you'll be given more guidance about what all of this means. So really run with that. I also see 2 financial increases potentially for you, one that you have to go get and one that will fall in your lap more toward the end of the week. Capricorn, what is going on with you? So Capricorn, I have you being a little stubborn. It's as though they're showing you in a vehicle and it feels like the vehicle stalls out. You got a whole team of people. You got a team just there to support you. The whole tribe is there, right? And they're pushing the car from the back. It reminds me of Buffalo every day, right? All through the winter. You got, what are we, the city of good neighbors, whatever? You got all these people behind your car, like, okay, we're going to push her forward. We're going to get her out of this rut. You know, we're going to get her going. And then I look closer and there's no rut. There's no mud. There's no snow. There's nothing under your tires. And you're actually not even sitting in the driver's seat, which is interesting. So what that means is that you are deciding to take a back seat in your life this week in some situation. And for many of you, it feels like it has to do with dialogue, communication with another person, or in possibly even like a work or family situation where you're just like, I'm just not even going to do this. I'm just going to, you know, sit over here and let the chips fall where they may. And that's not really an option. You can get away with that for a very, very short period of time. But I'm hearing come Wednesday, we have sort of an explosion with all of this information, everything coming to the surface, or it would be like a volcano sort of erupting, and you're going to have to deal with it. Sometimes it looks like what you're trying to avoid in this situation is having to cut things off or set proper boundaries. You were just hoping they would fall into place on their own. For those of you exploring a new love affair or dealing with if you're coupled with someone who hasn't maybe been doing well, whether it be health issues or mental health issues, we may be seeing a breakthrough with that partner. And for those of you who are sort of newly coupled or dating new people, I'm feeling like this could go forward really, really quickly. Okay. And I feel like enjoy the ride. but don't completely lose your head. And remember that you can sometimes get caught up in things and they don't stay that way. So be realistic about hormones and endorphins and all kinds of other things, okay? Aquarius, what is going on with you? All right, so I'm hearing like do. There's like a whole bunch of funny activity going on here, almost kind of like a circus and a carnival, and then I'm seeing a Ferris wheel. You may be feeling like this week is kind of going without you, okay, going along, taking you along for a ride. It's sort of like when I see this Ferris wheel continuously going forward, you kind of can't stop, you can't hold on, you can't get off, okay, the wheel. You can't pause it. I think that last week may have been difficult for you, and you're recognizing that some of the mental and emotional stuff that you're dealing with, whether this be with family, lovers, close friends, children, things like this, it feels that it's taking a bit of a toll, and you haven't possibly processed any of that. And so what you're going, you can't just keep losing sleep over it. You're going to need to go inward. I'm going to recommend the same thing to you that I believe I said to Taurus, which is take 15 to 20 minutes to sit in silence, go in and ask your guides and your ancestors, your higher mind and God to come and show you by giving you direction what areas need to be dealt with and how you can bring in healing from those areas. You might be shocked at what you hear. I feel that this is time for you. We can't spend another week doing that, okay? It's not a circus. It's not funny. And you do need to get off the wheel. So there could also be a little bit of stagnancy here when we're looking at the workplace. For those of you who have been debating on doing something new, applying somewhere new, going for additional training or education, you may be hearing that something that was available to the past is coming up again and enticing you. And I do feel like you need to go forward with that. There's a lot of money in that for you. But more importantly, for many of you, it's part of your life contract that you would be giving more communication to people, healing to people, be more engaged in some way, get out of the rut. You know, when I look at someone who's supposed to be out in the world as a healer and they're working at a bank, this is kind of what that looks like, okay? We're not even in the ballpark. So if you feel you're supposed to move. For those of you who did move back when you were told to, you're going to get a huge payout for this. It's karmic. Very good. Pisces, what is going on with you for the week? All right. Pisces, I have you, how do I want to say this? It's almost like, you know, you're pulling on these ropes and you're pulling up these fish nets from this great ocean and they're full. You're pulling up another fish net and it's not so full. You're pulling up another one and there's almost like nothing in it. There's like a couple cans and a boot, you know, and you're like, what is going on? What is going on? If you may be examining a relationship, a situation where you're putting in the same amount of effort and you're not always getting the same results, and it's starting to bother you. What I think is interesting about this is that you have a very strong guide right over here whispering in your ear on the left side. That's always going to be your receiving side. So you're being given strength. You're being given the direction and the reassurance that you are on the right path. For a while, you're just going to have to keep plugging along. You don't always get the same results. And you also need to be careful this week that you're not comparing your results to someone else's. So everybody has a different journey. Everybody has different payouts and at different times. I keep getting this impression of, it's almost like Oprah, you know, coming in, this energy that the universe is going to be giving you that's very much about coming from nothing and making something great. Okay. So if you can persist with this, I feel that you may end up with something far, far greater than what you could wrap your head around, what your ego can really imagine. And it could really be coming from a place of willingness to say, what are the lessons? What experiences am I learning from this? What have I processed? Not just, this is what I'm supposed to do and this is the result I want. Okay. So this is really, and I hate that phrase, but it's in the journey. Everyone always says it's in the journey. It's in the lessons. It's in the mindfulness. It's in the willingness to engage in the process. And this would be a great week to do that. Okay. For those of you who are waiting on a check, taxes, a settlement, some kind of an estate, you might be getting a small, even an inheritance coming into you. Pay attention Thursday morning. I hear a lot going on with that. And Tuesday evening, some new stuff brewing in love and relationships. Don't say too much. Let it go on its own. All right, everybody have a great week. I will be putting up, I did not have time for December, but I will be putting up January horoscopes up on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe. And if you want to catch our next Ask a Medium show, 9 p.m. Eastern, that's going to be on Tuesday, the 17th, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Live. Thank you. Now we're going to get to your questions. So you guys go ahead, keep typing. Paul may have somewhat of a full.
That's a good, it's a busy.
Good mix.
Busy stuff.
Okay, good.
All right. Ready to rock?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me. Let's go with, start with a text question.
Okay.
This is from 579. I have a question for my friend. I am concerned for her safety and well-being with the marital situation she's in right now. Is there any solution to it soon? Awesome.
Okay, so this is the girl who sent in the question?
This is the girl in the marital situation.
All right, so we have someone asking about their friend. She is in a marital situation. She doesn't feel that it's safe for her. What is going to be happening with this friend? I feel that your friend needs to stop backpedaling. And it reminds me of one of the horoscopes I just did. Like I'm wondering if this is like Taurus energy somewhere in her chart. It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Now I'm standing still. Now I'll take this stuff. There's so much him and han and like back and forth. And this isn't an individual who has really accepted that she should be trusting her gut instinct over her emotions and even sometimes her logic. And so what can happen with this is that she's now sort of stuck. It's almost like a quicksand type of a feeling. And I think that what she needs to do is to stop feeding the problem by giving the message to this person that she's going to tolerate it. And that's it. It's going to require a complete and total cutoff. I would recommend, if you want to gift her something that's incredibly helpful, it's called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting. My students can, give testimonies here that it is helpful for people trying to cut off from sugar. You can lose like 15, 20 pounds almost straight away just from not having that addictive nature anymore. People who are dealing with, drug abuse, alcoholism, or really it was originally designed for toxic relationships where we need to cut cords with some people for self-preservation. And this would help to give her the tools to go forward and stick to it. But that's what needs to happen. Is it safe? No, not really. Okay.
From YouTube, we have Noah64.
Okay.
What do my guides want to tell me?
I would always recommend the Meet Your Guides class. It's downloadable up on the website. Get to know your guides, talk with them directly. We should never have to ask someone else what our guides want to say to us because they are working around the clock to talk directly to you. We should all know how to do this. But if I were to tap into them right now, what have they been working on with you? I want to say relationship and work stuff. And it just seems to go back and forth between the two. Also, a little bit of healing coming from your joy guide here of the heart. So if you've been dealing with childhood issues or past issues, past trauma, some sense of sadness, there is a healing energy coming in here having to do with childlike ideas and familial ties. So you seem to be kind of juggling all three of these areas at the same time. And it feels like one of the things that you need to be doing with your work, according to your work and money guide, you are in a unique position right now to say, I'm not settling for less. You have a bit of a tendency to get into complacency and say, well, it's a paycheck. Well, it's stable. Well, it is what it is. But I feel like there's fire in the belly for you. And I feel like there's something more that you want to be doing significant. And I feel like dealing with the public in a major way. It almost has like a media law type of a feel to it. You might want to propel yourself forward right around this time. Okay. You want to do that one?
Okay. This is Candy Maya from YouTube. I keep seeing for months out of the corner of my eye there are shadows of something moving, usually upstairs in my house. When I look, there's nothing there. It's not scary, so I was thinking it's a past loved one.
Actually, what I feel is going on with you is that you may have recently gone through a level jump upward with your intuitive intelligence, and that can happen for a lot of reasons. It's possible someone in your circle passed, or you went through some type of an illness or some type of a major change in your life. It can also just happen, I say, every 5 to 6 years. But you have had an increase, an awakening, a kundalini, you could maybe call it, and you are now seeing things. So it's not that they are new, it's that you're new to seeing them. Now, when you were a kid, you would have been seeing them all the time. But over the years, we learned to block these things out and deny that they're there. We have really aggressively trained ourselves to not see them. But when we go through a level jump and we move up and increase with these intuitive abilities, we start to see again, we start to hear again, we start to feel different things in our bodies. It would not be uncommon right around this time for you to be feeling more, whether it's like sweating or random bouts of anxiety or some confusion in your brain, especially when you're around other people. Very common. I would recommend level 1 psychic mediumship development class. Learn why they're there and what you can do about communicating with them to figure out what the bigger picture is, what these messages are. Intuitive ability cannot be reversed. It only increases, and we cannot block it. So we're going to want to embrace where you are right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to let you just run with whatever you think you have.
This one's from Instagram.
Those are names that you give me, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to let you just run with this because I like what you're...
Fair enough. This is from Instagram.
Okay.
It's Terry Rodriguez, 23. I made a big
My cousin. Hi, Terry.
Oh, very good. I made a big life decision. Am I on the right path?
My cousin Terry. So I feel like you are, and I actually have Grandma and Grandpa here, and Uncle Ralphie talking about. It's almost like you thought about doing this 2 or 3 other times. It was sort of like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then there was a hesitancy there. And it's not that you were unhappy. It's not that you were dissatisfied with your life, but you definitely seem to have felt like it wasn't the right time, or it was too much rocking of the boat, let's say. And I want to say that they're incredibly pleased that you're doing this. This has to do with your soul. This has to do with your purpose here on earth. And this is part of a much bigger picture than what you may be realizing right now. Over the course of the next 3 years, because of this decision, there's going to be so much new networking and movement and freedom and prosperity opportunities. And I really see you being lighter. So if we were to say that, even though you have a lovely life, that maybe there's been an accumulation of some weight from that atmosphere, in time, this could be removing that from you, and you could be finding that you just feel more youthful and prosperity comes more easily. A ton of blessings here, and absolutely you're on the right track. Very good.
Okay. This one is from YouTube.
Okay.
It is Bernadette Sinatra.
Okay.
My son passed away a few weeks ago. I would like to know if he has any messages for me. Was he alone? And his name is Brian.
I do feel that he was alone. He said, I was alone, but not lonely. It came on rather quickly. This wasn't exactly planned for, I'm okay, and I'm okay with the way that it happened. I'm not okay with the way that you feel right now. And I'm scrambling to find things that can make you happy. I'm scrambling to find anything that can put a smile on your face. And I know that that's not going to be happening. So I'll settle for some peace. If we can just get you some peace of mind. And there may have been some divide going on there, whether he lived at a distance or there was just distance in communication. I actually feel like it's more maybe the way that he was a little bit divided away from everybody else. And, you know, he is stubborn. I mean, he just does. There's some people, it's sort of like you could lead a horse to water. You know, there's nothing you can do with some personalities. He's a strong personality and sort of justified. Okay. I want to say he's okay. And I want to say even dignified. Okay. He is feeling that right now the most important thing for you to do is to make peace with what happened and maybe not take it so seriously and not think of it as something that's directly connected to you or that was caused by you. There was nothing more. Disassociate a little bit from what happened and understand. He just says, these were my choices. Okay. These were my choices. This was the way that it was supposed to happen. He's around you a lot. And I want to say like 3 times a day. He said morning, noon, and night, but that's entirely accurate. It's like the afternoon, definitely in the evening. It's him trying to visit you in dreams, and you might hear him walking around. Pay attention to doors moving and things like this also. He loves you very much. He's doing very well. I'm sorry for your loss.
This is from Mariam I on YouTube.
Okay.
Advice for me and my crush, Mohammed.
Advice for you and your crush. He feels sort of scattered sometimes and a little like playful and kind of aloof and sort of, I feel there's something funny about him. I look at him and it's like he's got this smirk on his face, but he's not saying anything. I'm not sure what, you know. He's enticing, you know. You want to get more out of him. You want to know kind of what's going on in there. And so my feeling is that you want to sometimes treat him like a cat. You know, so up to a cat and you're like, love me, you know, let me love you. They're gonna react in the opposite of what, you know, you thought for the majority of the time. Anyways, it's sometimes better with certain people to kind of it's like be coy, you know, you're pulling back. He is really very good at responding to like intellect and a little bit off the wall kind of humor and anything that's intriguing, anything that's different. I also feel like artwork. So if you guys were to go look at beautiful things, I see beautiful colors, tapestries, you know, things like this. Maybe gift him an outing like that, or even gift him like a piece of artwork or something like that. So you can be around a little bit more, you know, unwittingly. And yeah, I feel that when you say these off the wall things or intellectual stimulation there, that's where I feel like you guys have this, this nice balance going on where it's kind of like two cats playing together. And I think you keep it right there. This thing has some longevity in it. Yeah. You keep just picking on your own, or you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is from Instagram. It's She's Electric.
Okay.
I've lost 3 people in the last 3 weeks, today being the last.
God.
I feel so lost and confused and don't know how to move on. When do you think is a good time to try and do a reading? Should I give it time?
There's no need to give it time. Sadly, being still taught today that it takes a year to a year and a half for spirit to communicate. That is completely false. We communicate while we're living, telepathically, all the time. We also communicate through astral travel and many other ways. So spirits can communicate while they're passing and the second they pass. There's no need to wait. It has more to do with you feeling ready, but you don't seem to have any blocks to receiving. So yeah, I would say whenever you're ready to talk to them, I could understand that maybe some mediums have trouble connecting with newly crossed spirits. I don't. So you may bump into some situations there, but that is not from lack of spirit trying. Okay. I'm very sorry for your loss. You certainly are being well watched over. And what I'm feeling for you is really, I don't want to say this from the female here. It's like dry your tears, celebrate for us. Try to think of it in terms of something happy for us. Okay. They really are free. And, her especially, I feel like I needed it. Like she looks like a butterfly to me. And that means earned wings. Okay. Earned prosperity, earned freedom. It was time. The other, I feel a gentleman in trouble with the throat, choking throat, lungs, can't communicate, like a buildup here, just a lot going on. So they're doing very well. They just want you to be doing well too. Okay.
Mm-hmm. This is from Dina Gospodarsky Campbell.
Okay.
Any messages from my mom, Diane? I need to hear something from her to know she is at peace.
Well, you don't. You have to just know, that she's at peace. If you put demands on it like that, you're not gonna get those answers, because spirit will just pull back. They literally will not give on demand that way. It doesn't operate that way. So there's nothing you need to hear other than she's at peace. She is at peace. You should be able to feel that in your bones, that she's at peace. I want to say for you, it's just about allowing. This is a woman who's very dynamic in her spirit and her energy. And I don't know if you have her clothes in your closet or if you just need to clean your closet, but I see things building up in your closet. I feel like you like to hold on to things. She's making some kind of a joke about you being not a hoarder necessarily, but I feel that you it's like, I'm not going to get rid of this. I may wear this, if I ever go to this concert in New York,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to hold on to this outfit. I'm going to hold on to this thing. I'm going to hold on to this memory, this object, this whatever. So she teases you about that, but she is around quite a great deal, and there should really be no problems with you communicating with her. Again, people, if you don't know the language, level 1 psychic mediumship training at my academy will teach you the language, not meditation, the actual language. Okay. So learn how to talk to them yourselves, but we don't want to be demanding about hearing one thing or that they need to prove it. She just is. She just is around quite a lot, actually. Mm-hmm. And talking to a male, too. I can't tell if that's like your brother. There's another male in the family. But messing through other people as well. Pay attention to the things that people say to you. She uses people. That's funny.
We have a little mix of these two.
Okay.
This is from YouTube as well. Her name is Taylor. I would like to know if my grandmother is still with me and does she approve of the person who I'm currently in love with? And the grandmother's name is Corrine.
Corrine, do you approve of... Right, Corrine. That's the girl or that's the grandma?
That's the grandma. Okay.
Corrine, do you approve of her relationship? So what your grandmother's giving me here is that... I just want you to be happy. I think that you've had situations in the past where maybe you thought it was a forever type of a thing, or you're looking for a forever type of a thing. And what she's talking about is finding more happiness. Okay, you'll find more happiness when you don't try to put that label on it. So whether you're doing it, he's doing it. I mean, I don't know what the dynamics are. I'm not looking into all that today. But let's put it this way. If we say, oh my God, right? We have this great thing. And then it's like, I need it to become this, and then I need this to be marriage and last me forever. And then all of a sudden it's like, suffocating itself. We might prefer and get more out of it if we allow ourselves to look at the other person and say, like, this feels really good. This makes me really happy. I appreciate your time and attention. And we have good partnership. This is teamwork. I could see that we could build things. And if it continues to go well and like this, and we're both growing and learning, then that's awesome. And if it doesn't, then so be it. Be a little bit looser, and you'll get more out of it. So she said, I watch over you, and I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. And I feel like, I feel like you have a lot of demands on things in life in general, a lot of expectations. But remember, okay, this is what she's saying. Your happiness is just in where you are now, being happy with what you have now. Okay. So nothing more, nothing less. And that goes for everything. But yes, I feel like sometimes he could step up a little bit more, and she watches that and she pushes. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you're also pushy. So.
Okay. This one is from Heather Geary.
Okay.
She said, my daughter Elizabeth's teacher is telling us she's always putting her head on the table and seems tired all the time. Can you give us any insight? She has autism.
Yes. So I have training called empathic awareness. I've been pushing it into the school systems for 8 years, and we finally had a breakthrough this year. We are now in 3 universities and 4 different school districts, or something like that. Something like that. So, and we're working on getting it into rehabilitation centers, prison systems, all of this. Empathic awareness. So you're going to go on to Ivy Rivera empathiceducator.com. Do you want to type that in there if you can in the feed? Okay. You could also find the one for the public on my regular website, which is listed above or below. So Ivy Rivera empathiceducator.com. What is really common between children who have autism is this. So they have these roots in empathic ability. And what happens is that they get drained very, very, very easily and quickly. Okay, so when they go to be around other people, could be just 2 people, heaven forbid it's more than that. It's almost like you can watch the life be sucked right out of them, and they end up literally just putting their heads down and they sort of quit. Okay, so I was diagnosed with some interesting things when I was a kid, because I had the same identical reaction that your child is having, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. Well, when there's too much activity around from the other people, the empathic person gets drained. It is an issue with overabsorption of other people's energy, but it also comes from objects and atmospheres. So you're going to want to listen to that 2-hour training. You're going to want to learn the tools and techniques that can be used and engage with your child, get them to do what they can, and to start identify where it's happening, how it's happening, and what they can do to block. There are other things depending on how much your child is able to engage with something like that. There are other things that you could do as well. So feel free to book a reading with me anytime for more in-depth look on what can be done. But yep, empathic awareness, absolutely huge with kids with autism.
Yeah.
It's also a big part of the reason they don't like to make eye contact. Empaths don't like doing that either. Too much information. Too much information.
All right. I'm going to hit up YouTube here. This is Pedro Anfer. I'd like to know about my spiritual mission and if I'm a healer.
Okay. You know what? And I was going to say, I know everyone throws that word around, right? Healer these days could be anything. But what I literally saw with you was a healer in the traditional way. When I was a kid and people would say that I was a healer, I thought that meant something like a medicine doctor, or, you know, it didn't mean the same thing that it does today necessarily. And that's what I'm seeing for you. I feel like I'm going back into 2 previous lives with a potential third, and we won't go to all of these, but there's a lot of shamanic imagery here. And I think that if we were just to go back to the last one where you did this, I think you would have been working with some kind of it's almost like maracas. It's I forget what you call these things. It's like a gourd, you know, but it has the seeds inside. I can hear a ceremony going on. And I see a fire, and this is you leading it as a shaman, but I thought you were with a tribe of people, and you're not. You're quite alone. So it could be that you were an elder, a leader of some sort, and would have done these things almost like a private practice, like a doctor. These people would have come to you. So some of it was about letting, blood, cleaning out what was dirty. Sometimes we had people with problems with pregnancy. You had older gentlemen, you had younger women, you had everything everybody coming to you. And a lot of what you did, because I'm seeing the shaking of the instruments, and because I'm hearing the drums and I'm seeing you calling in the spirits, a lot of it is that spiritual element where you're calling in the spirits to do and assist with the healing and the cleansings. But there was also this image of you gathering up herbs and, I don't know, plants and leaves, and I don't know anything about that, but it looked to me like making medicines of your own. So you could be pulled in this life to wrapping up some work from that could be more holistic practices, you know, like Reiki, psychic surgery, things like that, but also food as nutrition, you know, oils, herbs, grow your own, you know, vitamins, an alternative to the medical field. You could be pulled in both directions. That looks pretty awesome. Yeah.
This is from Adriana Medrano Verona.
Okay.
Will I be a couple with Gil?
I don't honestly feel that one working out. I don't think that he has the stability. I don't think that he wants that. And I don't think that it's you. I think where this person is right now, it's more about me. It's more about me figuring out what I want for me. And even if you do play a part in that, it's not very lasting. So I think that you should be on guard.
It's concise.
It could run out, you know.
Probably gonna butcher this name, but Giuseppina Saiva Steele.
Okay.
Is 2020 looking better for me as far as my financial situation in marriage?
Ooh, and marriage?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I see the first 3 months for you being a little bit like you're kind of climbing out from under a rock, okay? And that could be just from stuff being thrown at you and you having to sort of emerge. I think that we're going to be looking at more emotional stability, mental, you know, wellness, physical wellness. The first 3 months are all focused on you raising your vibration. All right. And then it does feel very, very easy for you. The 4th month out, January, February, March, April. And I want to say that because they were talking about the first 3 months, we would also want to add on 4 to that. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July. In July, pay attention to, you have especially the second week of July, it's almost like a burst. It's like a planetary, you know, like lottery aspect or something. It's like a burst of opportunity, doors opening for you where there may have been a position that you wanted, or you may be like, okay, I want to go out on my own and get this thing. It can bring long-term stability and sustenance to you. So I feel good about all of that. That's all movement forward. I don't see any move back with any of it. As far as the marriage is concerned, that to me feels a little bit more like static. We're kind of doing the same old thing. You may be trying to shake this person up or get them rattled or get them to see some things in a new way. And there may be two breakthroughs with your love partner. One where you sort of shook them up and got them to see things in a little bit of a different way. But remember, people have to be ready for that. Okay, you can plant seeds, but you can't force it to grow. And the other one is coming more internally from your partner. So like, wow, where'd that come from? So we could be looking at an increase too in like, passion, connectedness, intimacy, things like that. Looks good. There might be an increase there too in money with your partner. So yeah, all in all, great things. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope to see you at the next show, which is going to be Tuesday, the 17th on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Live. If you have not subscribed to me on YouTube, please go on and do so. I put the link above and below. I'm trying to shift everything over that way, and I will be putting your January monthly horoscopes up here soon. Thank you, Paul.
You're very welcome.
Take care.
How is it?
Come here, Mama.